My beloved child, if today your heart is trembling among old wounds, if your faith is bleeding because of someone who has turned their back on you, then listen to me before you say farewell to yourself. For if you do not allow my word to touch you, you may push your own soul into the driest place of all, where you no longer want to believe in what is good, no longer dare to love, and even fear the light itself. I know, you once placed your heart in the hands of someone I had gently warned you about in the silence. You once believed in words sweet as honey, only to drink to the dregs the bitter cup of betrayal. But my child, sometimes I allow you to be betrayed, not because I want you to hurt, but because I want to save your heart from the one who is killing it with a pretense of love. Betrayal is not an accident. It is a wake-up call that I send you in the form of a fall. You feel pain because you once trusted, and that is why I do not want you to lose your faith. I only want you to change its direction. For while you see a person walking away, I see the door that needs to be closed so another, better one can open. I do not take love away from you. I only take away the one who is unworthy, so that you can still love the right person in the right way, in me. Do you know, when I formed your heart, I did not make it to be a playground for the curious. I made it to be a temple, a place where true love dwells. But when you let the wrong person step in, you unknowingly set another image upon that altar, and I am compelled to overturn it, compelled to break it down, not because I am cruel, but because I want you yourself to be rebuilt upon the foundation of truth. For the Lord tests the heart and examines the inner being of man. Proverbs 17:3. I do not test you so that you collapse, but so that you may be refined, like gold in the fire. So when you ask yourself, why did God allow me to be betrayed? Remember this: I did not send you a traitor. I sent you a lesson so that you would not betray yourself. Betrayal is sometimes a mirror held up so you can see the times you also betrayed that small inner voice, my voice. And when you begin to recognize that, you are beginning to be saved. There were moments when I spoke so softly in your heart, do not go that way, you will be hurt. Yet you smiled and thought it was just a passing feeling. You became drunk on a glance, on promises sweet as honey, and you believed that love could soften a heart of stone. You forgot that I am the only one who can turn stone into flesh. I warned you, but you chose to believe seduction instead of wisdom. You let your heart be drawn by what was pleasing to the ear, and forgot that the serpent once spoke only pleasing words in the Garden of Eden. You are not foolish. You are simply lacking in watchfulness. When you love, you think that to trust is to love, but you forget that discernment is the weapon of those who truly believe. Without discernment, love turns into a blade that others can use to slice your heart. My voice has never been silent. It is only that you switched it off because you were afraid of hearing something that went against your desires. I whispered in the wind, in a dream, in the anxious eyes of a friend in the faith, but you brushed it aside. You chose to trust your feelings instead of my leading. Now, as you sit amid the ruins, I do not blame you. I only long for you to return to that first call, the whisper I placed in your heart. Remember, if you keep treating my word lightly, you will offer yourself to those who only wish to devour your peace. But if you learn to listen, I will lead you out of the darkness you once chose to step into. I am still waiting for you, not behind you in the past, but ahead of you, where true peace is waiting. My child, there are times I see you walking roads where the light can no longer reach. You bow your head, clutching a heart that has just been trampled, and still you try to excuse the one who made you cry. You say, they once cared for me, it's just different now, but I see more clearly than you do. There are affections that are not truly love, only selfishness wrapped in sweetness. There are promises that do not spring from sincerity, but from the lips of those who want to possess. And when I gently pull you away, you grow angry. You think I am stripping you of your joy, when in truth I am saving you from an abyss you have not yet seen. Do you remember the story of Samson? He was the one I chose, endowed with extraordinary strength, yet he lost himself in the arms of Delilah, the one sent to test him. I warned him, but Samson thought his strength came from himself. He smiled at temptation, believing he was wise enough to control it, until the day Delilah cut his hair and I withdrew the power I had given. He was captured, his eyes gouged out, and only when he had lost everything did he realize that love cannot be placed on one who does not fear me. In the same way, my child, there are people who are sent into your life not to stay, but to expose the weak places in your heart, the very places I long to heal. What pains me most is not when you fall, but when you justify that fall with the words, "As long as I love." You forget that to love does not mean to close your eyes. Love is never an exchange for your peace. When you start trying to convince yourself that surely they will change, you are handing your heart over to illusion rather than truth. I see you lying awake through the night, crying alone, trying to resuscitate a love that is slowly dying, and you do not realize that, at that very moment, I am standing beside you, waiting for you to let go. Only when you release it can I take hold of you. Many ask, why would God let me hurt if He loves me? You know, I never promised to shield you from every wound. I only promised that each wound would draw you closer to me. Like parents who teach their child to walk, I allow you to fall, not so that you will be crushed, but so you learn how to stand in the right direction. If I made love easy for you all the time, you would never learn to distinguish between what is true and what is false. That is why I let you touch betrayal, so that you may discover that only I am the love that never changes. One day, when you sit quietly in the midst of your brokenness, you will see what I have seen from the very beginning. Every betrayal is only a murky drop separated from a clear vessel. You will understand that I have not stolen anyone from you. I have only separated out those who do not belong to the pure part of you. And when you allow me to wash you, you will shine again, softer and stronger than before. Remember, my dear child, I never abandon you in the desert. I simply lead you through it so that you may learn who will truly walk with you and who is only a mirage in the sand. There is one, the thing I long for you not to forget. My voice is not loud. It is small, gentle, and so often drowned out among the sweet words of others. Yet it is always there, nudging you whenever something inside is not at rest. Do you see? From the very beginning I warned you, not with storms, but with a strange uneasiness, a subtle imbalance that you chose to ignore. Next time your heart is confused, do not look for answers in someone else's eyes. Seek them in my light. For where true peace is, there I am. I am not angry because you trusted the wrong person. I only ask that you do not let that mistake rob you of your faith in what is right. Your heart can still love, but this time, let it love with the clarity forged in tears. Do not be afraid of keeping a distance. Do not be afraid of being alone, for loneliness will not destroy you, but repeating the same mistake will slowly kill your soul. When you learn to guard your heart in me, you will no longer fear betrayal, because then no one will be able to take what has been placed in my hands. And when light begins to return to your eyes, when your heart no longer panics at the memory of loss, you will start to hear more clearly my gentle voice calling you home. Where there has been betrayal, I sow faithfulness. Where you have been deceived, I teach you to discern between true and false. Where you once fell, I raise you up again, stronger and more steadfast. This is how I love you, not by giving you a flawless love story, but by shaping you to become worthy of true love. And you know, from within that wound I am preparing for you a new season, a place where you will no longer define yourself by the one who left, but by the one who has never left you. Yet before I lead you forward, I need you to finish this first lesson, to recognize the truth, that sometimes betrayal is the very way I protect you from what you refuse to release. Only when you stop letting pain define you can I take you further, to a place where you no longer live by memories, but by hope. My child, there are some who, after being hurt, carry not only a wound in their heart but allow it to shape their very soul. I see you slowly becoming like that. You do not say it aloud, but I know you have begun to call yourself the one who was betrayed, the one who is not worthy of love. You wear your pain like armor, believing it will keep you safe. But you do not see that when you let your wound speak for you, you are still letting the one who hurt you rule your life, even though they have long gone. I do not want you to become a replica of your pain. I want you to return to the very image I created you in, whole, beautiful, unafraid to love, and sure of where you belong. Do you know the story of Gomer? She was an adulterous woman, despised and mocked by many, yet the prophet Hosea, at my command, went to find her, to redeem her, and love her again. Hosea 3:1. For I wanted all my people to understand, my love does not withdraw just because you have been unfaithful. I love in order to restore, not to condemn. Do you see? Even though the whole world named Gomer by her sin, I still called her the one I love. So why do you call yourself by the name others have given you? When you define yourself by your pain, you have forgotten that I am still defining you by grace. But I understand. You are tired. Betrayal has made you shrink back, afraid to love, afraid to trust, afraid to open your heart. You live like someone with a shard of glass lodged in the chest. A gentle touch is enough to make you ache. You are terrified of reliving the past, so you build walls around your heart. I do not blame you, but I want you to know this. The walls that protect you are the same walls that imprison you. You are trying to avoid being hurt, yet that very self-defense is what draws you away from the source of life. For when you close your heart to people, you are also closing it to me, and you cannot be healed if you are still afraid to let the light fall on your wound. Pain, if it is not placed in my hands, will become an idol. Your life will begin to revolve around it. Your thoughts, your words, your way of loving, even your prayers, will all flow from it. I have heard you pray, Lord, please don't let me be hurt again. But you have rarely prayed, Lord, please use this pain to make me more like you. Perhaps that is why I have allowed some wounds to remain unclosed. Not because I want you to suffer, but because I know that only when you let me touch them will they truly heal. That wound is not there to remind you of betrayal, but to remind you of mercy. I want to say this clearly to you. Pain is only allowed to awaken you. It is never allowed to define you. If you let it take over, you will look at everyone through the lens of suspicion. You will love on guard, trust in fear, and pray in bitterness. You will become the very person you once feared, cold, closed, no longer believing in what is good. I did not create you to live like that. I created you to prove that it is possible to walk out of betrayal and still keep a tender heart. That is the real miracle. Not escaping suffering, but refusing to let suffering distort who you are. But I know you cannot erase memories by yourself. Pain has its own way of staying. It hides in your gaze, in your voice, in the way you react to love. So I am not asking you to forget. I am inviting you to remember differently. Remember not to hold on to resentment, but to be grateful that you survived. Remember not to reopen the wound, but to recognize the hand that carried you through. When you change the way you remember, you change the way you live. The wound is no longer a trace of loss, but a testimony of redemption. You once asked me, "Why don't you give me back my justice?" I smiled, because my justice is not retaliation, but restoration. If I only returned pain to the one who hurt you, then you and they would be no different. But if I restore you, lift you up, make you stronger, that is true victory. The one who betrayed you may have made you weep, but only I can help you understand why you had to cry. Sometimes, your tears are the way I wash your soul, so that you no longer carry bitterness as you move forward. When you dare to look back, you will see that betrayal is no longer a shameful scar, but an engraving that whispers to you, I once saved you. You no longer need to pretend to be strong. You only need to be honest. For I do not need you to be perfect in order to love you. I only need you so that I can love you. When you stop trying to prove you are fine and let me be your refuge, you will see, peace does not appear only after everything is over. Peace is this, knowing that no matter what has happened, I have never once left you. Do not be afraid that you have lost too much, because pain is not the ending, it is the beginning of something new. Like a seed buried in the ground that seems dead, yet is actually sprouting. Betrayal does not bury you. It only buries what is fragile so that what is strong in you can rise. When you let me hold your hand, I will teach you how to look at the past without trembling, how to speak the name of the one who hurt you without hatred. That is true freedom, not forgetting, but being healed. And then you will see something wondrous. I have turned ashes into a garden of flowers. The very pain that once made you collapse has become the soil where I sow the seeds of hope. You will learn to love again, to trust again, and to no longer be afraid, because you will understand that true love never costs you your peace. It does not chain you, does not choke you, does not make you lose yourself. It makes you live deeper, lighter, and closer to me. Do you see? The lesson of betrayal does not end with recognizing who hurt you, but with recognizing what you once allowed to reign in your heart. Besides me, when you truly understand that, pain no longer has the right to own you. It becomes only a small part of the journey I use to lead you to a safer place. And right there, in the stillness after the storm, you will hear my voice more clearly than ever. I have waited for you long enough. Now, it is time to come home. For only when you stop defining yourself by your wounds can I show you what healing truly means. And the place I want to lead you to is not where you merely survive to avoid pain, but where you dare to love with a restored trust. Because true faith is not afraid of scars, it turns scars into witnesses of grace. And that is the first step for me to take you further, to the place where you learn again how to guard your peace instead of handing it to someone else. My beloved child, I see that you are still smiling, but it is the smile of someone exhausted. You are not smiling because you are joyful, but because you are afraid of losing someone. You are doing everything you can to keep them, even while your heart is cracking into tiny pieces. You think that love means sacrifice, yet you are sacrificing your peace in exchange for a few crumbs of affection. I watch you endure and endure until you lose even your own true voice. And you do not realize that when you let someone else hold your peace, they are not only controlling your emotions, they are holding your very soul. Do you remember the story of Martha and Mary? When I came to visit, Martha was busy and restless, running back and forth to prepare a meal for me, while Mary sat at my feet and listened. Luke 10:41-42. Martha thought that doing more would please me, but I said, Martha, Martha, you are worried and upset about many things, but only one thing is necessary, and Mary has chosen the better part. Do you see? Peace does not lie in how much you do, but where you place your heart. Wherever you set your heart, there you will find rest. You have chosen, like Martha, trying so hard to please people, forgetting that I never asked you to prove your worth by how much you can endure. You are afraid of being alone, so you stay in a relationship that drains your soul. You soothe yourself with just a little more. Maybe they will change, but the tighter you cling, the more your peace slips away. You yield, you endure, and slowly you fade within that very relationship. I see you, day by day, losing your laughter, your light in your eyes, even your faith in what is good. You think you are holding on to love, but in reality, you are clinging to fear, and fear is never a foundation for love. It is only a gilded prison. When you hand your peace to someone else, you are handing them the power to define your worth. If they praise you, you feel worthy. If they grow cold, you feel worthless. You live like a shaken bottle, trembling at the slightest touch. But my dear one, true peace does not depend on who stands beside you. It depends on whose light you are standing in. I am not asking you to stop loving people. I am asking you to love without losing yourself, because if you lose your peace, you will have nothing left to give. I know you do not want to be lonely. To you, loneliness is darkness, a silent room where your heart feels empty. But I tell you the truth, loneliness will not kill you. It is only a temporary valley through which I lead you to a wider plain. You are afraid of the dark, yet it is in that darkness that you learn how to recognize the light. But if you choose to stay with someone who hurts you just because you fear emptiness, you are willingly living in a prison of your own making. Loneliness may make you cry, but abuse, whether emotional or spiritual, withers your soul day by day. Let me be the place where you find your peace again, not people. For people may come and go, but I remain. When you place your peace in me, it will not be shaken even when the world changes. You will no longer have to check your phone every hour to see if someone has messaged you, no longer stay up late waiting for an apology. You will sleep in peace, because you know, no one can steal what I guard. You do not need to prove that you are lovable, for I loved you long before you knew what love was. Do you remember what I told my disciples? Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives. John 14:27. My peace does not depend on circumstances, does not shift with emotions. It is a root so deep that even storms cannot pull it out. You once searched for peace in someone's arms, in promises, in a certain look, but those things are only illusions. True peace does not need to be clutched. It only needs to be trusted. When you let me hold your peace, you will no longer be afraid of losing anyone. For what truly belongs to you, no one can take away. And what leaves you was never truly your portion. I do not want you to become hardened. I want you to be steadfast. Love with a soft heart, but one wrapped in faith. Give with kindness. But do not let anyone rule your emotions but me. For a heart that rests in me is a heart no longer afraid of breaking, because it knows, even if it breaks, I can piece it back together, more beautiful than before. You will see, when your peace is placed in the right hands, everything around you slowly changes. Any relationship that holds you only by fear will fade away. Anyone who steals your peace will drift out of your life. Not because you push them away, but because I am cleansing the space around you to prepare you for what is new. Rest assured, what you lose in peace I will repay in blessing. But what you cling to in fear, I cannot touch. When you learn to place your peace in me, you will begin to realize love no longer terrifies you. You will no longer need others to prove your worth, because you have found it in my gaze. And when you are at peace, you stop chasing. You become a light to those who are still confused, still running after half-hearted affections. You will become a witness to something simple that the world has forgotten. Only when the Lord holds your peace is your heart truly free to love. And I know that when you reach this point, you are no longer the same. You no longer live just to be loved, but to know how to love in clarity and truth. You understand that true love does not drain you, it fills you. It does not demand that you trade away your soul, it makes your soul richer. In that very moment, I know you are ready for what comes next, to learn how to discern between true faith and blind faith. For only when you know how to place your peace in me will you be able to recognize who truly belongs to the light and who is only a shadow carrying the name love. My beloved, I know that you once trusted with all your heart, trusted to the point of blindness, trusted until you could no longer hear my gentle whisper deep. You thought that trusting people is living faith, that to love is to give everything. But you forgot this. True faith is not built on emotion, but on truth. When you put your trust in the wrong person, you do not only lose time or tears, you lose the ability to hear me, and that is what pains me most. Not that you trusted the wrong one, but that you ended up trusting human beings more than the one who created love itself. Do you remember the story of King Solomon? He once asked me for a discerning heart to distinguish between right and wrong. 1 Kings 3-9. Solomon did not ask for more wealth or power. He only asked for wisdom to discern. And because of that, he was honored above all other kings. And you, what have you asked of me? You have asked to love, to trust, but rarely have you asked me for the ability to recognize what is true. Deep down, you are afraid that if you see too clearly, you will have to let go of the person you want to keep, and so you choose to close your eyes, thinking that faith is leaping off a cliff without looking. But my child, true faith does not jump into darkness. True faith walks in my light, even if it is only a single, small ray. I have warned you before through the smallest details. An insincere glance, a repeated behavior that left you uneasy, a word that robbed your heart of peace. But then you explained it away. It's nothing. They probably didn't mean it. You kept trying to dust over every clear sign, just to protect the beautiful picture you yourself had painted. You began to believe in an imagined goodwill instead of the truth, and when trust is placed in the wrong place, it turns into chains. You called it faithful love, but in reality, it was dependence dressed in something holy. I want you to understand this. Trust is something sacred, and not everyone is worthy to receive it. When you hand out your trust cheaply, you are, without knowing it, turning over the key of your soul to someone else. You think they are merely keeping it safe, but in fact they can fling the door wide open and shatter everything I am building within you. Faith placed in the wrong place will leave you disappointed, but trust placed rightly in me will cause you to stand firm. That is why you must learn to guard your heart, like a night watchman guarding the temple. You once said, "I trust them because they are good." But my child, kindness is not proof of truth. Even the devil can disguise himself as an angel of light, and not everyone who flatters you wants you to grow in the light. I know you long to see the good in others, but that longing cannot replace discernment. You need to know how to love with open eyes, to trust with a clear mind, and to pray with a soft heart. I do not teach you to be suspicious, but I do teach you to be awake and alert. For only when you are sober-minded will your faith be preserved from turning into blindness. Blind trust always begins when you make someone else the answer to all the emptiness within you. You believe they will fill your loneliness, heal your wounds, and give you a reason to live. But you forget that no one can fulfill those things except me. When you allow someone to take my place, you are raising an idol in your heart, even if you still pray every day. And I, the one who is jealous for love, am compelled to let that idol fall, so there will be room for me to return. I do not break things to take revenge. I break things to set you free. There is something I want you to grasp deeply. Placing your faith in the wrong person does not only wound you, it also distorts your image of me within your heart. You begin to doubt me because someone else betrayed you. You become angry with me, thinking I was silent, while in truth I was shielding you from something far worse. Blind trust makes you forget the true voice of the Holy Spirit, the voice I planted in your heart from the very beginning. Do not be deceived by an appearance of piety or outward acts of kindness. The temporary always knows how to disguise itself as the eternal. Do you know this? True faith is not believing that others will never hurt you, but believing that, even if they do hurt you, I will heal you. When you reach that point, you no longer fear betrayal, because you know that I am the final refuge of your heart. I will not let you drift forever in a sea of doubt. I will teach you how to swim with a wise, discerning trust, not a blind one. For faith that clings to me is unshakable, while trust that clings to people is as fragile as glass. Do not think that discernment means a lack of love. Discernment is the expression of mature love. To love without discernment is to love without a protective fence. You do not need to be cynical. You simply must not give your heart to anyone before letting me touch them first. When you learn to ask me, "Does this person come from you?" you will begin to hear my voice guiding you. And when I say no, you will no longer resist, because by then you will understand that sometimes my no is the very way I protect a yes for your future. I see you growing, learning to see with the eyes of the soul rather than with passing infatuation. You have begun to recognize that not everyone who seems good is sent by me, and not everyone who hurts you is evil. Some people come to teach you faith, some come to test that faith, and some come only to serve as a living example of what you must never become. When you learn discernment, you will realize that true love does not make you blind. It makes you bright enough to see me, even in the midst of brokenness. And when that light rises within you, you will realize that guarding your heart is not about building walls, but about planting a hedge of flowers, soft yet clearly defined. No one is free to come and go without permission, and only those who carry peace may step inside. That is the art of faith, open yet steady, trusting yet watchful. When you live in such faith, I will not only keep you from mistakes, I will lead you to the place where faith truly blossoms, where you no longer cling to what is temporary, but turn toward what is eternal. Then, when you have learned to stand firm in discernment, you will hear a new kind of call, not the voice of fear, but the voice of maturity. You will look back on your past, on your mistakes and those who deceived you, and you will smile not because you have forgotten, but because you now understand. You will know that everything that has passed was only a lesson preparing you for a new season. And precisely when you are ready to step beyond blind trust, I will teach you something deeper still, how to let go of the past you once clung to, so you can step into the new season I have already prepared. I know, there are nights when you lie still and the tears still fall, not because it still hurts, but because you miss what was. You miss the days gone by, the memories that seem harmless yet pull your heart back to the place I already told you to leave. You comfort yourself. Maybe they weren't really bad, maybe it was just the wrong timing, and you begin repainting the old picture, adding a touch of rosy color to convince yourself that maybe the Lord still wants me to go back. But I tell you the truth, my child, I never lead you back to a land I once called you out of. That place is no longer soil that nourishes your soul, but a field of ashes where I have already burned away what no longer belongs to you. Do you remember the story of Lot's wife? When I sent angels to lead Lot and his family out of Sodom, I gave the command, "Do not look back." But his wife still turned to look, and at once she became a pillar of salt. Genesis 19:26. She was not judged merely for a glance, but for the longing behind that glance. She left the city, but her heart stayed there. So it is with you. I see you walking away in your body, but your heart is still turned toward the one who wounded you. You tell yourself you just want to look one last time, but every time you look back, you lose a little more strength, a little more of the chance to move forward. You clutch your memories as if they were the only proof that love once existed. You think that if you forget, it means denying everything good that ever was. But no, my beloved, forgetting is not betrayal. Forgetting is release. Memory is not evil, but when you let it rule your present, it becomes a chain. I want you to learn to remember not to weep, but to give thanks. Only when you can be grateful even for what has been lost will you be grown enough to receive what new thing I am preparing. The old season has expired. You cannot pour new wine into old wineskins and expect them not to tear. I know you think you are healing, but in truth you are feeding your pain. You let bitterness smolder like hidden embers, inside you not hot enough to destroy, but hot enough to steal your peace. You retell the old story again and again, as if repetition would make it lighter, yet you do not realize. Every retelling tears the wound open once more. Forgiveness is not denying the truth. It is choosing to no longer let the past define your future. You still pray, you still sing of grace, but inside, you have not let go. You keep your pain like a keepsake. You keep your bitterness as proof that I once loved truly. But my child, the saved are not proven by their wounds, but by the light of resurrection that shines afterward. You once said, I'm afraid to move on in case I make a mistake again. I understand that fear because you have believed the wrong people, been betrayed, and fallen hard. But if you keep standing forever at the crossroads between what once was and what I dare not begin, you will lose both. The past can never live again, and the future cannot start. Remember this. I do not call you forward to test you. I call you because there is something better ahead. If you sit beside the ashes waiting for a miracle, you will never see spring. A seed only grows when it is buried in the ground, and to rise again, you must be willing for a part of you to die. I see you still lifting your eyes to heaven and asking, Lord, why do you take away everything I love? But my child, I do not simply take away, I relocate. I move you out of the old so that you can receive the new. Like a gardener pruning dry branches so the tree can bud again, I am cutting away what you thought was essential so that you can bloom in the next season. Do not fear what you lose, for loss in me is never the end. Loss is only the beginning of renewal. Behold, I make all things new. Revelation 21:5. Those are not empty words. They are the real heartbeat of my love for you. You do not have to be strong on your own. I have never asked you to stand up by yourself. I have only asked you not to lie down forever. When you are weak, lean on my shoulder. When you are afraid, let me go before you. When you cannot yet let go, let me release it for you. All I need is your yes, and I will do the rest. I do not need you to be perfect before you come to me. I only need you to be real. You may weep, you may tremble, you may be unable to form words. Just do not pretend you are fine. For when you are honest with me, I will give you what you never thought you deserved, peace. And those who hurt you, you do not have to wait for their apology. Forgiveness is not reconciliation with others, it is reconciliation with yourself. When you forgive, you are not saying, they were right. You are saying they no longer have power over my heart. And that is true freedom. Forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. A tree that is cut down can sprout again. A river that is dammed will still find another course. How much more the heart I have placed within you, will it not prove stronger than what was broken? You have already walked through many seasons of weeping. Now it is time to learn how to truly laugh. Not the forced smile that tries to prove you are fine, but the peaceful smile of one who understands that everything lost had its reason. When you dare to let go of the old, I will place in your hands what no one can ever take away. I do not promise that you will never be hurt again, but I promise that those wounds will no longer terrify you. For now you know, every scar is a victory song. Look around you, the flowers blooming on scorched ground, the dewdrops resting on dry branches. They all carry the same message. Nothing that dies in me fails to give birth to something new. Your past, however dark, can become the very soil where the seeds of grace take root. But only when you finally turn your back on bitterness will you see the dawn ahead. Let me open a new door for you, not the door of memory, but the door of redemption. For I do not only want to comfort you, I want to restore you. And when you have come this far, your journey is no longer a chain of mistakes, but a chain of redemption. You have learned to trust, to love, to lose, to let go. Now is the time for you to learn to live as a free soul, no longer bound by the past, no longer driven by fear, but guided by the light. You will come to see that in this life, no one can truly save you except me. Betrayal, pain, loneliness, all of them are only the winds I use to train the wings of your soul. And when that wind finally grows still, you will understand. It was that very wind that lifted you up to fly. So, my child, do not look back anymore. Behind you is ruin, but before you is a new garden I have planted. Walk forward, even if your feet still tremble, for you do not walk alone. I walk with you. Believe, and do not be afraid. From this day on, the past is only the place I have rescued you from, and the future is where I am waiting for you to return, so that I may train your soul to become strong, radiant, and at peace, like my very own love. Even if darkness seems to cover your soul, I am still there, quiet as your breath, hidden like the beating of your heart, yet never once absent. You are not alone. You never have been, and you never will be. I know there are nights when you sit in silence, your dry eyes fixed on the ceiling, wondering whether you still have the strength to keep going. There are mornings when you wake up, the light filters through the window, yet your heart feels heavy as stone, because you know you are still trapped in a storm with no visible way out. But my beloved child, in every one of those moments, I am still reaching out, my hand, still trying to shield you from things you have not yet realized would wound you. You do not need to sacrifice yourself to cling to something that only leads you further away from who you truly are. No one has the right to steal your peace, especially someone who does not even know how to cherish it. You were not born to be a power source for darkened souls, not born so that someone can drain your joy just to feel worthy. You were born to shine, to live fully, to love without being swallowed by a mistaken kind of love. There will come a day when dawn breaks inside your soul that you finally see what I have been trying to tell you all along. His mask will fall, not because you rip it off, but because time and truth always know how to expose what has been hidden. You will see his true nature, and in that moment the pain will crash over you like waves upon the shore. It may leave you breathless, but in that very moment, you will understand why I begged you to leave before the wound became impossible to heal. I do not wish to punish you. I only wish to save you from an abyss you cannot yet see in full. The curtain of truth does not come to throw you into despair, but to end your blindness, to set you free. Receive that truth with a brave heart, for only truth can liberate your soul. You wonder why this world contains people like him, why kindness so often becomes prey for those who only know how to use others. My child, light has a strange power of attraction. It both warms and exposes the darkness around it. Broken souls often seek out the light because they need healing, but not everyone knows how to honor what they receive. Some come only to inhale your warmth, then walk away once they are satisfied, leaving you behind in the cold. Others are so weak that, instead of learning to kindle their own flame, they choose to steal the fire of others to light their path. Yet, you must not close your heart because of this. Learn how to guard your heart, but do not let it turn to stone. A heart that knows how to keep watch can still love, because it loves with awareness, loves without losing itself. But a heart that has grown calloused beats only out of duty, not out of feeling you were created for. Love, not shallow love, but deep love, true love, love with your whole soul. Yet love is only a blessing when it lifts you up, not when it becomes a blade that tears your very being apart. I do not want you to stop loving. I only want you to know how to choose a worthy place to pour your love into. Not everyone is capable of receiving the greatness of the love you carry within. Some souls are too small, and when they stand before a vast love, they tremble in fear and try to strangle it just to keep control. You must learn to recognize that boundary between love and meaningless self-sacrifice, between mercy and blindness, between holding on and letting go. My child, I know that letting go is the hardest thing because it feels like cutting off a piece of your own heart, but you must understand, true love does not need to be preserved through pain. If something makes you lose your peace, makes you feel small, makes you wake each day in fear, then it is no longer love. It is only a chain disguised in sweet words. Do not fear loneliness, for loneliness is sometimes the test that helps you rediscover yourself. In the stillness of being alone, you will hear my voice more clearly than ever, the gentle voice that has always been calling you home. You ask why I allowed you to go through such things. I allowed it because I want you to grow, to see your own worth, to know that love is not always salvation. Sometimes it is precisely in loss that you discover how strong you truly are. I do not wish to protect you from every pain, for without wounds you would never know healing, but I always stand watch, never allowing any wound to destroy you. I allow you to stumble, but I never allow you to be lost. And when that day comes, the day you look back and see that you have walked out of the darkness, you will know that everything that once shattered you was part of the journey of coming back to yourself. You will no longer hold resentment, because you will understand that no pain was ever meaningless. Every tear that fell was a seed sown into the soil of your courage. Every time you collapsed was another time you learned how to stand up without anyone's hand to lift you. Then you will even give thanks for those who hurt you, for they helped you see what is truly valuable, what is truly worthy of receiving your whole heart. I do not want you to become cold. I want you to become wise. Do not lose your kindness just because someone exploited it. Let your wounds become the measure that teaches you to treasure more deeply, to love with wisdom and not only with emotion. One day, you will meet someone who does not come to take away your peace, but to guard it together with you. That person will not make you afraid of losing them, because they do not come to possess you, but to walk beside you. Then you will understand what it means to love without losing yourself. I know you are tired, but be patient a little longer, for beyond the pain, there is always a new beginning. Dawn only breaks when the night is at its darkest, and you are the same. Only when you face the darkest corners of your own heart can the light enter. I am still here, quietly waiting for you to step out of the shadows, not because I fear you will be lost, but because I trust that you will find the way. You are the light of your own life, the living proof that every soul can be reborn, no matter how shattered it once was. My beloved child, remember this: true love does not come to make you lose yourself, but to help you find yourself again. Hold on to that faith as you would guard a small flame in the midst of a storm. The storm may shake you, but if you keep that flame alive, you will never be swallowed by the night. I do not want you to become strong because you no longer feel, but to become strong because you still dare to love, even after you have been wounded. One day when you look back, you will smile and say, I have walked through it all, and I am not lost. In that moment, you will understand that the most precious thing is not what you managed to keep, but who you have become after everything. And I am still here, in every heartbeat, in every breath you take, whispering, you have already been saved. The days to come will be a journey of testing and growth, where your soul is stretched between two realms. On one side, the warmth of your comfort zone, where you have grown used to familiar rhythms, and on the other, a new land, where I am calling you to step forward. This inner struggle does not only appear in the choices you make outwardly, but in every breath you take, every moment you hesitate between staying and moving on. Your comfort zone, even if it has been causing you pain, still feels safe because it is predictable, because there you do not have to face uncertainty. But my child, some forms of peace are only temporary, like a still surface of water hiding slow undercurrents of fear and loneliness. The path I invite you to walk, though veiled in mist and challenges, holds a different kind of peace. A peace not controlled by praise or the gaze of others, but arising from the deepest place in your soul, where you meet me. Be brave and take the first step, even when your eyes cannot see far ahead, for light only appears as you begin to walk. You do not need to see the whole path. You only need to know that I am holding your hand. You do not need to understand every reason. You only need to trust that every step you take is seen by me. Every tear you shed is kept by me. The place you fear the most, where you feel most exposed and weak, is exactly where I have already been waiting, with a love that has no conditions. You will never have to pass through the darkness alone. I am the small but steadfast flame within you, reminding you that there is still a road ahead, that there is still a purpose for every breath you take. There will be nights when you lie in the quiet, hearing your own heartbeat mingling with your worries, and you will ask yourself, am I strong enough to keep going? You will remember the times before when you thought you had completely collapsed, and yet the next morning you still rose, still breathed, still walked on. For true strength is not the absence of trembling. It is the courage to take another step while your feet are still shaking. Strength is not the denial of weakness. It is the love you have for life and for yourself, rising above your fear. It is the ability to stand firm in the storm while everything inside you is in turmoil. It is that small inner voice, quiet but unwavering, reminding you that you were not born to shrink back, but to shine in this world. You are not alone. You never have been, and you never will be. My presence is not always a thunderclap or a dazzling miracle. More often it is a gentle breath, a strange stillness in your soul amid all the chaos. It is that moment when you are at the edge of exhaustion and suddenly feel your heart calm. That is me. It is when you sense that someone understands your pain without you having to say a word. That too is me. I am in every beat of your heart, in every tear and every smile that rises within you, even in days you thought your spirit had run dry. There are moments of silence when you think, I have abandoned you. You call my name but hear no answer. You pray and feel that only silence replies to your pain. But my child, that is not my absence. It is precisely within those silences that I am rebuilding you, shaping your soul the way a patient craftsman cuts and polishes a rough stone into a gem. Every time you endure, every tear that falls is counted in love. I do not let you go through these things to punish you, but to widen your heart, so that you may understand compassion more deeply, so that you may know that the greatest strength comes from wounds that have been healed, not from a cold and flawless perfection. The world, again and again, will make you want to shut down. You will meet people who make you doubt goodness, situations that make you feel as if your faith has slipped away. Yet I long for you to keep within yourself a piece of light, however small, still enough to illuminate the path for you and for those who are lost. For it is precisely when you love that you recreate me in this world. You become my hands when you lift someone up. You become my voice when you speak words of comfort, and you become my heart when you forgive. This journey does not require you to be perfect. It only asks that you be honest with yourself, with your fears, your desires, your wounds, and your longing to live truthfully. I do not need you to be strong at every moment. I only need you to be honest and to keep walking. For growth does not come from hiding your pain, but from daring to face it, from admitting that you are not yet complete and still choosing to love. Every time you fall, I am there not to accuse you, but to lift you up. Every time you lose your way, I do not condemn you, but quietly light the path home. You may not see it yet, but every step you take, however slow, is bringing you closer to yourself, to the essence I placed within you from the beginning, a soul capable of loving, enduring, and rising again. I know you fear change, fear loss, but sometimes I need to take away what no longer belongs to you in order to place in your hands something better. Like a gardener pruning dead branches so the tree can blossom, I am also cutting away the things that keep you from growing. Trust that every loss is not an ending, but the beginning of a new season, of a deeper way of living. The days ahead may not be easy. You may again doubt, again grow weary, but remember this: no one is called to a great journey without passing through great trials. You are not called to live a mediocre life, but to discover the full depth and beauty of your own soul. I am leading you to a place where love is no longer conditional, where peace no longer depends on circumstances, where you know that your worth does not come from anyone else, but from me, the one who created you. When the winds of life blow hard, when the things you once trusted collapse, close your eyes and listen to the voice within. That voice does not rush, does not shout, it only whispers, "Do not be afraid. I am still here." For every time you think you are all alone is when I am closest to you. When you lose everything, you still have me, and when you have me, you have enough to begin again. So, my beloved, let your heart be led. Do not be afraid of losing your way, for I myself am the way. Do not fear the darkness, for I am the light. Do not fear the silence, for within it I am speaking to you in the language of love. Keep walking, even if only in tiny steps, because it is within this very journey that you will find yourself stronger, deeper, and more at peace than ever before. And one day, when you look back, you will understand that every pain, every struggle, every seemingly endless night was a step on the staircase that led you to true freedom. The freedom to love, to live, and to become the person I have always longed for you to be. My child, there are days when a human heart grows unbearably heavy, when your faith in yourself is worn down by harsh words and judgments that seem careless, yet cut like sharp blades deep into your soul. You have come to believe that you are not good enough, not beautiful enough, not worthy enough to be loved, just because those who never truly saw the light within you made you doubt yourself. They said you are too sensitive, too demanding, too fragile. They told you that you expect too much when you should simply be grateful for the small crumbs of attention. But I tell you, those words are merely illusions, echoes from souls that have not yet learned how to love themselves. You are not wrong for longing to be fully loved, to be understood, to be truly seen by a sincere gaze. You merely placed your trust in the wrong people, laid your heart in hands that did not know how to hold it gently. The love you seek, the love that brings peace to the deepest part of you, does not come from outside, but arises from me, the one who created you with all the beauty and worth that are already yours. When you truly understand that my love for you never changes, that you have always been loved whether you are broken or fragile, you will no longer bow before distorted imitations of love. You will stop accepting half-hearted things just because you fear loneliness. You will stop trying to fit into shapes others draw for you in order to please them. For when you know who you are, you will no longer need anyone else to define you. The man who once stepped into your life with sweet promises that vanished like morning mist is only a small chapter in the great story of your journey. He does not have the power to destroy you, because he has only taken what no longer belonged to you. Do not regret, do not grow bitter, do not try to make him see how precious you are. The truth is, you never needed him to see it. I see it, I know, and I have chosen you for a path far more radiant. When he leaves, do not rush to fill the empty space with someone else, for it is in that very emptiness that healing begins. Emptiness is not a final full stop, but a space where new light can slip in, where you can breathe, where you are free to return to yourself. Let the tears fall if they must, because sometimes tears are not a sign of weakness, but proof that you once loved with your whole heart. Allow these wounds to be washed clean by time, so that your heart, though scarred, still beats joyfully with faith in what is good. One day, you will realize that this pain has taught you more than any book, that you have learned how to choose yourself instead of begging someone else to choose you. New souls will appear, not to fill the gap, but to build something whole with you. They will not ask you to be silent so that they may be at peace, will not make you shrink so that they may stand tall. They will come carrying a quiet steadiness, and in their eyes you will see reflected the very light I placed within you from the beginning. They will love you not because you are perfect, but because you are yourself, genuine, gentle, and strong after all the storms. My child, I know you are tired, that you have come to believe nobody can be sincere, that love is nothing more than a fragile dream. But I want you to know this: true love is not something you must chase after. It is what you become when you learn to live in my truth. When you lift your head and look up, when you stop clinging to what has already left, you will see another door open. Where there is light, there is peace, and there are gentle hands ready to hold you, not because they need you, but because they desire to walk alongside you. Every crack in your soul is a place where light can enter. Do not be ashamed of the times you have fallen, because it is precisely those stumbles that make you deeper, more capable of love, more appreciative of small things. I do not blame you for having given your trust, because to love is to dare to trust and to give of yourself. But I want you to understand that not everyone can respond to that love with the same depth. So learn to love without losing yourself. Choose to stay only in places where you are at peace, not where you must beg to be noticed. When you know you are loved unconditionally, fear will loosen its grip on you. You will dare to say no to what harms your soul. Dare to walk away from places where respect no longer exists. You will learn how to protect your heart, not with high walls, but with wisdom and faith. Remember, every departure carries within it a hidden blessing. When someone leaves you, it is the moment I am clearing the way for something better to come in. Do not rush to see loss as failure, for in my sight, it is the beginning of rebirth. You have been chosen not to live in mediocrity, not merely to exist, but to shine. I have planted in you the seed of courage, of faith, and of unshakable love. Let that seed be watered by quiet days, so that it may grow into a tree of understanding and compassion. One day, when you look back, you will smile in the knowledge that every wound carried a sacred meaning, that every breaking brought you closer to the wholeness I had intended for you. You do not need to become someone else in order to be loved. You only need to return to your true self, a child of light, the one I always uphold and never abandon. The future I am preparing for you does not lie in human promises, but in your own hands, when you dare to believe that you are worthy of what is good. Trust me enough to let go of what is wounding you, because sometimes loss is not an ending, but a release. You will never know how strong your wings are if you keep clinging to places where there is no room for you to fly. Let me lead you through the dark days, through doubt and fear, so that you may see that behind everything that seems like loss, grace is waiting. When you accept that everything happens for a reason, you will stop blaming, stop resenting, and begin to live in gratitude. You will see that my light has never left you. It is only that your eyes have been closed for too long by pain. Now, open them, breathe, and feel, for I am still here, loving you as on the very first day, without condition, without limit, without ever changing. There will be days when you stand at a crossroads, your heart full of hesitation, your gaze lost among choices that seem harmless, yet conceal countless consequences. In those moments, you will hear within yourself a quiet call, as soft as a breath, and yet deeper than all the noise of the world. That call is my word, gently urging you not to choose the easy path, not to trade your chance to become your most radiant self for a brief and shallow sense of safety. For, my child, every true peace is paid for with courage, and no one can find real peace if they keep running away from their own storm. You may fall, you may stumble, you may feel drained and confused, but even in what seems like your weakest hour, I am still beside you, quietly supporting each trembling step. Do not be afraid when your heart hurts, for only souls that have been wounded can truly know what healing means. Only those who have walked through darkness can understand the value of light. When you turn away from sweet illusions, when you learn to look straight at the truth even though it makes your heart ache, that is the moment you begin to grow in clarity. There will come days when you do not want to wake up, mornings when the sunlight feels like a blade cutting into the tiredness still smoldering in your heart. You will see this world as cold and distant, and feel your own soul as empty as an abandoned house. But my child, I tell you this, no one lives in darkness forever, because the light of hope always knows the way. I do not want you to be strong in order to deny your tears. I only want you to be persistent enough not to collapse halfway. Each tear that falls is a prayer, and every time you lift your gaze toward the distance, it is a step toward freedom. Do not be afraid when others do not understand you, for not everyone can see the inner journey of a soul being reborn. When you choose to continue, even if it is just one small step, you have already won against the fear that once bound you. There are things in life that cannot be explained by reason, only felt through faith. When every door seems to close, trust that there is a small path meant just for you, where I still stand waiting, arms open, eyes overflowing with love. I have never been far from you, never abandoned you in the night. Even when you doubt everything, including yourself, my faith in you does not waver. You are a small part of life itself, carrying within you the light I placed there from the very beginning. No one can take that away from you, not pain, not mistakes, not even the long winters of the soul. Every time you choose to forgive, even just a little, every time you restrain your anger and choose gentleness instead, you are showing the world my face through your own heart. I know you once loved with everything you had, trusted without conditions, and were wounded until you felt completely drained. But, my child, understand that no love is ever wasted. Each time you give your heart, even if it is not returned, you are still cultivating a flower of maturity in your soul. Loss is not an ending. It is a harsh lesson that helps you see your own worth more clearly. I do not ask you to forget your wounds. I only ask that you learn to walk through them without letting them define who you are. A heart that has been hurt is not a weak heart. It is a heart that has truly lived, truly loved, truly burned. And only when you learn to love again, though trembling, though cautious, do you truly step out of the darkness. There will come a time when you look back on the road you have walked and no longer feel regret. Then you will understand that every fall was necessary, every loss carried its own meaning. You will smile when you remember your old tears, because they are the witnesses of your journey out of the depths. You will feel your heart become as light as a cloud, for you will have stopped struggling against what cannot be changed and learned to bow and accept what is meant to go. You will no longer force yourself to be strong, because true strength does not lie in hiding your weakness, but in facing it with gentleness. I want you to remember this. Peace does not come from avoiding pain, but from walking through it with a calm heart. At times, you will have to cross fields of solitude, listening to the wind passing through your soul like a reminder that everything will eventually flow on. But trust that beyond the valley lie early morning forests, the clear breath of life waiting for you. When you dare to let go, you do not lose anything. You are simply making space for better things to arrive. I promise you, there will be a morning when you wake and feel a strange stillness in your heart, when every wound in you has turned into soft streaks of light, like falling stars in the night. reminding you that beauty is sometimes born from brokenness. And my child, when you must choose, do not seek the shortest road, choose the truest one. The true road is never easy, but it leads you to what is real. The price of truth is a season of loneliness, but its reward is lasting freedom. The path of falsehood shines brightly at first, but the farther you go, the more lost you become. The path of faith may look obscure, but I am at the end of that road, waiting for you with tireless patience. You only need to keep walking, only need to dare believe that every challenge is not there to frighten you, but to teach you how to fly higher. When you choose the light, however small, the darkness no longer has power over you. This life does not promise fairness, but it is always just. Whoever dares to face their own darkness will be given a light that cannot be extinguished. Whoever knows how to pause and listen to their own heart will never be truly lost. Do not search for peace outside yourself, for it only exists when you are reconciled with who you are. When you no longer blame, no longer resent, no longer demand that everything must go your way, peace will come like breath, natural and gentle. I want you to understand that forgiveness is not forgetting. It is choosing not to let the past rule the present. One day, when you look back, you will see that what I speak to you now is not mere comfort, but a prophecy of love. For you will be truly healed, not because of anyone else, but because of the very light I placed inside you. You will know how to love again, but without fear. You will know how to trust again, but without blindness. You will live again, not as before, but as one who has died and been raised by grace. All suffering will become the soil from which joy grows. You need only to keep walking, only to believe, only to live. The rest I will take care of, for I am not far away. I am the breath within you, the beating of your heart when it trembles, the unseen hand lifting you up each time you fall. I am the whisper in the night, the light at the end of the road, the hope still burning even when you think you have gone out. Live, my child. Do not give up. Do not let fear define who you are. You were not born to be bound. You were born to be free, to love, to carry light wherever you go. And each time you do, I will smile, for I and you have never been apart. Where others choose to turn their backs and leave you alone in the storm of loneliness, I will quietly send new souls into your life, people who will not only take your hand, but will be willing to walk with you across the empty hills of memory and through the unannounced seasons of rain. I do not promise that they will erase all your pain, but they will help you see that love has not gone extinct in this world. When one door closes, it is not a final period, but a rest, a pause for you to take a deep breath, listen to your own heartbeat, and then notice, somewhere else, another door opening with a gentle light inviting you in. That light does not exist to replace the past, but to honor what has always belonged to you. The values, the dignity, and the inner radiance no one can ever steal. Do not let bitterness, the poison of the soul, slip into your heart like a thief in the night. It will steal your gentleness, dim your light, and make you see everything through the distorted glass of your wounds. Anger may come like a fire, burning everything in an instant, but if you let it stay too long, it will turn you into ashes. Forgiveness is not weakness. It is the highest expression of strength. You do not forgive because others deserve it, but because your soul deserves rest and lightness. Forgiveness is the act of a heart that has understood that clinging to pain only makes you slide deeper into the night, while letting go is the doorway to freedom. When you forgive, you no longer allow others to control your emotions or the story of your life. You stand up, reclaim your own power, and say to the world, I am not defined by what others have done to me, but by how I choose to move forward. The coming season of your life will no longer be as noisy as before, but its strength will be deep and steady like an underground spring. In the quiet, I will remake you, not in the uproar of success or the applause of the crowd, but in the peace of a soul that has learned what enough means. You will learn to smile when you are alone, to find joy in a morning cup of tea, in the sound of the wind at your window, in the sunlight breaking across your hands. You will discover that happiness does not lie in being recognized by someone else, but in being brave enough to love yourself. Your smile then will no longer depend on anyone's gaze. It will be born from a heart that has been healed. In that silence, your true voice, the one long covered by layers of pretense and fear, will return. You will write words that touch the hearts of others. You will sing songs in which every note carries the breath of freedom. You will create things that only you could imagine. Every work you bring into the world, every breath you release into existence, will carry the fragrance of healing, of rebirth. People will look at you, amazed by the change, unable to understand how you could overcome so much. They will not know that behind your calm is an entire hidden battle, tears, long nights, and all the times you collapsed and then rose by yourself. There will be those who once left you, who now try to return when they see the light in your eyes shining again. They will speak as if there had never been any wounds between you, but you will know that forgiveness does not mean going back. You will smile, you will understand, but you will also know how to keep a healthy distance. You will bless them, not out of pride, but from the compassion you have learned through loss. Love will still be there, but you will not trade your peace just to hold on to someone, for real love does not imprison, it sets free. You will understand that true wisdom does not come from books or advice, but is born from the very times you fall to your knees. Pain is not an enemy. It is the stern teacher that teaches you to cherish every quiet moment, that shows you what truly deserves a place in your soul. When you have walked through fire, you will know how to keep the flame in your heart warm without burning anyone. You will listen more deeply, love more tenderly, and protect your heart with clear, loving boundaries. Your compassion will still overflow, but it will no longer be fragile. It will take the form of steadiness, loving others without losing yourself. The world will look at you and think you have changed, but in truth, you have only come home to yourself. What you once dropped along the way, your faith, your hope, your self-respect, will be picked up, refined, and returned to their rightful places. In this new light, you will no longer fear loneliness, for you will know that loneliness is not an empty void, but the sacred space where your soul can blossom. When you learn to dwell peacefully within yourself, you will no longer need anyone else to prove your worth, because you finally know this. You are enough from the very moment you were born. And then, one day, when you look back on your journey, you will see that every pain had its purpose. Every parting was a subtle arrangement that led you back to yourself. You will be grateful even to those who made you cry, for because of them you learned how to dry your own tears. You will give thanks for the times you were left behind, for it was precisely in being left that you learned how to stand up on your own. And I, the one who has walked with you through every night of darkness, will smile when I see you finally know how to love your own life. From within the fragments, you have learned how to piece your heart back together, not to become who you once were, but to become a stronger and more radiant version of yourself. You will no longer seek comfort from the outside, but will learn to become a safe refuge for your own soul. Then, everything you do, your words, your gaze, your very steps, will carry the energy of peace. Others will feel it, will be touched by it, and perhaps they too will begin their own journey of healing. That is the deepest meaning of all that you have been through, not so that you would collapse, but so that you might become a light for yourself and for those who are still lost. That path is not easy, but step by step you will realize that true love is not somewhere far away. It is right there, in a heart that has learned how to forgive, how to release, and how to begin again with all the tenderness this life deserves to receive. You are no longer who you once were, yet you are not someone entirely new. You are simply yourself, radiant in your wholeness, and I am there with you in every peaceful breath. In the long seasons of your life, there will come a time when you look back and realize that every pain did not come to bring you down, but to polish your soul into a shining gem. One day, the very story you are now carrying in your heart, the breakings, the nights of silent tears, the unsteady steps at the crossroads of life, will become a source of comfort for someone who is lost. You will meet them, trembling souls standing on the edge between letting go and holding on, those who are afraid to release what has hurt them and yet cannot bear to walk away. And in that moment, your mere presence, the quiet light of peace in your eyes, will speak more than 1,000 words. They will see in you a witness of overcoming, a small but warm lamp lighting up the path they are walking with a torn heart. You will not need to persuade them that everything will be all right. The calm in your eyes, in your voice, in every breath you take, will help them believe that miracles truly exist. The miracle called walking through pain and still loving life. When you tell the story of your own life, you will not only speak of loss and tears, but also of how you learned to rise again. You will tell of the times when you felt as though your soul had been torn apart, when you thought you could not possibly survive another day, and yet by some power, perhaps love, faith, or the very hand of destiny itself, you still kept walking. You will speak of the first morning you woke after the storm in your heart, of the ray of sunlight that slipped through the window you had never really noticed before, and you will understand that you are still here, still allowed to breathe, to love, to live. In that very moment, you will know that what seemed like an ending was in truth only the beginning of a new journey, the journey of becoming yourself, with a heart reborn from its brokenness. Pain, my child, is not the enemy. It is the stern yet devoted teacher that life has sent to you. It teaches you to feel more deeply, to love more completely, to see beauty even in what appears withered and spent. Without the days when you fell to your knees, you would never truly understand the value of standing up. Without having cried yourself dry, you could never fully grasp the simple happiness of a smile. And so, do not reject your past. Do not be ashamed of your wounds. Let them become sacred marks that bear witness to how fiercely you have lived, how wholly you have loved, and how bravely you have faced your own darkness in order to find the light. Time is never your enemy. It is the gentle current carrying you to where you belong. Some things may seem delayed or missed, yet in truth, they are only the delicate preparations that creation has arranged especially for you. I have never been late. I simply arrive at the moment when you are mature enough to receive what is given. The time of waiting is not an empty void, but the space in which I reshape your heart, training you in patience and trust. For only when you have learned how to be silent can you hear the whisper of destiny. Only when you know how to wait can you be strong enough to hold on to what is truly worthy when it comes. Every turning you have taken, whether wrong or confused, has not been in vain. Every heart that has shattered you, every prayer that seemed forgotten, all of them are notes in the great symphony your life is composing. There were times when the pain was so intense you felt you could hardly breathe, yet as time passed you came to see that everything carried meaning. You will understand that if doors had not slammed shut before you, you would never have had the chance to step into a better place. If certain people had not walked away, you would never have learned to cherish those who stayed. Each ending is not abandonment, but a gentle protection I give you, shielding you from what no longer belongs to you. There are those who come into your life only to teach you a lesson and then leave. There are doors that close not because you are unworthy, but because there is nothing behind them that can nourish your soul any longer. In such moments, I am not stealing your happiness. I am clearing the way for another joy, deeper and more enduring. And when that moment arrives, when you look back and understand why everything unfolded as it did, you will smile within, grateful even for your losses, because through them, you have become as whole as you are today. My child, let faith be the force that leads you on, even when you cannot clearly see the road. You may have to walk through nights without a moon, along stretches strewn with stones and thorns, but do not be afraid. It is precisely in that darkness that I am still quietly walking beside you. Every step you take, though trembling, is bringing you closer to where you need to be. And when you feel as though you have nothing left to lose, that is the very moment you are standing on the threshold of the birth of a new self, a self that is braver, deeper, and more free. Remember, you have never missed your destiny. No mistake is so great that it can tear you away from the path I have laid out for you. Sometimes you simply need to pause, take a deep breath, and trust that everything is still unfolding exactly as it needs to. Every waiting, every seemingly meaningless moment is a piece of a perfect plan whose full picture you have not yet seen, and when that picture is finally revealed, you will understand that everything that ever happened did so for a reason. I know there were times when you were exhausted and wanted to give up, yet you are still here, and that alone is proof that the light has never left you. You are stronger than you think, deeper than you know, and more lovable than you believe. Do not measure your life by what you have not yet achieved. Look instead at how far you have come, at how many storms you have crossed, while still keeping enough kindness in your heart to smile at others. That very kindness is the most beautiful gift that pain has given back to you, and as you step into the years ahead, you will no longer look at pain with resentment, but with gratitude. You will tell your story not to complain, but to inspire. You will speak with the calm voice of one who understands that everything lost has simply made room for something better to come. You will use your own journey to touch the hearts of others, to say, "Believe," because life never truly abandons anyone. Sometimes it only needs to let us lose our way for a while so that we can find ourselves. Then your story will no longer belong to you alone, but will become a small flame passed from one person to another, warming weary souls and helping them trust in the dawn after a long night. After all, you were not born merely to pass through this life, but to help make it more beautiful. Every wound you have carried, if you know how to love it, will become a place where light can enter, and that very light will shine out from you, illuminating the way for those who are still searching. Do not fear your past. Do not despise your stumblings. They are the proof of a soul that is growing. Everything that happens has a purpose, and the ultimate purpose of pain is to transform you into someone who can love more deeply, forgive more readily, and stand more firmly. So, go on, my child, with faith, with an open heart, and with a smile that knows that no matter how many trials await on the road ahead, you never walk alone. I am still there, in every breath you take, in every tear that falls, in every trembling beat of your heart. And one day you will stand upon the heights of peace, look back on it all, and whisper, "Thank you for everything. Because of the pain, I have come to know what true love really is." Oh, my beloved child, when I see you in your pain and confusion, my heart twists within me like that of a father watching his little one lost in the storm. You have heard my voice before, you have felt the warmth of the warnings I sent you, and yet you let the winds of the world scatter those words, allowing your tender heart to lead you back into danger. My child, the man I spoke to you about is not one who brings you light. He is darkness disguised in gentleness, sweet words hiding a possessive spirit. He will not love you with real love, for true love does not demand, does not wound, does not cause you to lose yourself. You must understand that the love that comes from me always carries peace, while the love that comes from human beings is often bound up with trials, deceit, and even selfishness. The world you are living in, my child, is not a place where every heart is pure. People may smile at you and speak flowery words, but in their hearts there are often only their own calculations and desires. They want to be loved, to possess, to be satisfied, and when you are no longer what they need, they will let you go as easily as one discards an old object. Do not let yourself become a victim in hands that do not know how to cherish you. I have seen every step you would take, every tear that falls from your eyes sinks into my heart like a deep cut. I tried to stop you before that pain came, but I cannot violate your free will. You have the right to choose your own path, but you must also bear the consequences of each choice you make. Look back, my child. All those times you trusted blindly, all those times you offered your whole heart without keeping even a little for yourself, did they ever bring you peace? Or were they only long nights of silent tears and mornings when you woke to an empty heart, no longer recognizing who you were? My child, the love I desire for you is not a love that makes you wither, but one that makes you blossom, makes you strong, and teaches you to love yourself. If someone truly loves you, he will not make you afraid. He will not make you doubt your own worth. True love does not need to be proven by tears, nor bought at the price of wounds. I know you are trying to justify him. You tell yourself that he was once kind, once caring, once made you feel needed. But, my child, evil never appears with an ugly face. It comes dressed as goodness, in calculated gentleness, in an embrace just tight enough that you do not realize you are being imprisoned. He knows your softness, knows your hunger to be loved, and he uses those very longings to bind you. The more you love, the tighter his grip. The more you endure in silence, the more he despises you. And then, at some point, he will take from you not only your trust, but also your very self, the most precious gift I gave you when I created you. My child, the world is full of those who say they love yet do not know what love is. They come to you not because you are light, but because they want to possess that light. Yet light cannot be confined. It shines most brilliantly only when it is free to shine. Do not let anyone extinguish the light within you with empty promises. I want you to know that loving is not wrong, but loving the wrong person can fracture your very soul. And if you continue to cling to that blind attachment, you will wound yourself more deeply than anyone else ever could. My child, remember that I, your father, will never abandon you. Even if you lose yourself in the night, I am always waiting for your return, always holding out my arms to gather you in when you are shattered. You do not need to seek love in those who cannot keep their word, for I have already given you unconditional love, a love that no one else in this world can give you. That love does not demand that you be more beautiful, more talented, more obedient. It only asks that you be yourself, with all your wounds and weaknesses, and with the courage that has helped you stand firm amid the storms. You have endured enough, haven't you? You have cried enough, heard enough, borne enough lies wrapped in tenderness. Now I want you to let go. Letting go is not defeat. It is the way you set yourself free. You were not born to be a slave to someone else's so-called love. You were born to be a child infinitely cherished in my embrace. The world will try to convince you that having no one beside you is loneliness. But I tell you, it is better to be alone in peace than to be with someone who drains you. When you choose silence and turn back to yourself, that is when your healing begins. Every wound needs time to close, and every soul needs rest after years of being dragged through the storm. Do not rush to find someone to fill the emptiness, for only when you learn to love yourself will you know how to love the right person. I see in you a strength that you yourself have not yet recognized. You think you are weak, but that very weakness is the beginning of resilience. You think you have fallen, yet with every fall you learn how to rise more firmly. My child, every trial comes not to destroy you, but to forge you into a woman who can stand in the darkness and still keep the light in her heart. People may hurt you, but no one can steal your faith unless you allow it. You only truly lose when you stop believing in goodness, when you forget that you are worthy of love. Remember, you are not alone. I am always there, in every breath and every tear, in every small prayer you whisper in the night. I do not promise that you will never have to cry again, but I promise that not a single tear will fall in vain. They will water the seeds of a heart that is stronger, kinder, and wiser. You will laugh again, but it will be the smile of one who understands the true value of happiness. My child, the world may wear down your faith, but do not let it rob you of your kindness. No matter who has hurt you, do not let your heart turn to stone. Forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Let the past rest. Do not reopen old wounds just to torment yourself. Walk forward, gently and with dignity, like a flower lifting itself after the rain. And when you grow weary, come back to me, to the place where you are sheltered, heard, and loved, without having to prove anything. I will restore to your heart the peace the world has taken away. I will teach you to recognize true love and to discern the deceit that dresses itself in sweetness. And then you will no longer be afraid. You will come to see that everything that happens, even the wounds, are the bricks that build the journey of your soul's growth. My child, do not let the past bind you in darkness. Let my light lead you out of that place. The day you can stand up on your own, the day you can say enough to what makes you suffer, is the day you step into true freedom. And then you will realize that you no longer need anyone to save you, because you have become the one who saves yourself. You are the child in whom I delight, not because you are perfect, but because you dare to live, to love, to suffer, and to learn how to rise again after it all. I love you, and that love will never change, no matter how far you go or how long you are lost. Come home, my child. Return to the light, to peace, to your true self, where I have always been waiting. I have seen in your eyes not only tears, but also shattered dreams and hidden pains no one else knows. Not a single tear has been meaningless. They have soaked into the dry soil of your soul and planted seeds of strength. Perhaps today you see only the pain, only your own lostness in the storm, yet deep within, something wondrous is being formed. Just as a seed must be buried in darkness before it can break forth, you too are passing through a still, silent place to prepare for a radiant season of bloom. The upheavals in your life have not come to destroy you, but to shape you into someone more steadfast and unshakable than ever. Every time you think you are collapsing is precisely when you are being trained to rise stronger, deeper, and more truthful with yourself. There are pains that seem pointless, yet they are the very ones that awaken the courage hidden within you, helping you see clearly what is real and what is fake, what is love and what is possessiveness, wearing a sweet disguise. That man, the one I warned you about so many times, did not come to bring you peace, but to test your discernment. His words were soft as honey, but in every glance there was calculation. He does not love your soul. He only wants to own it, like a child clutching a shiny toy without understanding its true value. You heard the warning within, a gentle yet resolute whisper, and in that moment you knew what was right and what was wrong. But you hesitated, because you still believed you could save him. You thought your compassion could dissolve the greed and fear within him. My child, to care is not to cling, and to love is not to trade away your own peace. Some people come into your life only to teach you a lesson about boundaries, about loving without losing yourself. Do not resent them, for their very presence reveals to you the value of serenity. They are a mirror in which you can see what you need to release. He is only a stray wind, a test along the way, so that you learn to close the door at the right moment before the house of your soul is torn down by the storm. When you step back, you are not a coward. You are simply protecting the flame in your heart from hands that do not know how to keep it. You owe no one the right to disturb your peace. Peace is the gift I placed in your heart from the very beginning. No one has the right to take it away. I have watched you fight, not with sword or spear, but with tears, with long nights spent quietly asking yourself whether you have done the right thing. Each tear is a sacred mark, a witness to your journey of maturity. You have slowly learned how to be silent when the world is noisy, how to stand still in the storm without scrambling to run away. That is the moment you become truly strong, not because you no longer fear, but because you know fear and still choose to move forward. Look back and you will see. Every pain carries a gift. Every loss opens into a new beginning. You are learning to love without chains, to give without expecting return, and above all, to hold yourself gently in your most vulnerable hours. I do not want you to grow cold. I only want you to be clear-sighted enough to know who is worthy to stay. That man is not your enemy, but he is not your destiny either. He is only a part of the journey that helps you recognize your own worth. Sometimes the allure does not lie in appearance or words, but in the power to make your heart forget its own reason. Yet you are now mature enough to understand that true love does not keep you awake in anxiety, does not make you doubt yourself, does not force you to shrink in order to fit inside someone else's limits. Real love makes you larger, freer, more at peace. And if it wounds you more than it comforts you, then it is not love, but a test. I know there are moments when you want to believe that he will change, that behind all those lies there is at least a trace of sincerity. But my child, truth never needs to be justified. Only what is false must be dressed up in 1,000 promises. When you step back, I see you slowly catching your breath again. When you choose silence, I know you have begun to hear the voice of your own heart more clearly. Hold on to that stillness, for within it there is me, there is strength, there is the birth of a new self, one no longer defined by the past, no longer bound by anyone else, but standing in the light of your own being. You do not need to be afraid of loneliness, because loneliness is where I am most clearly with you. In the quiet, you will hear a whisper, "You are enough, you are worthy, you are loved." And when you truly believe this, no one will be able to make you doubt your own worth again. Look at your hands. Once they trembled for fear of losing, and now they are opening to receive what is real. Lift your head, for no storm lasts forever. When you walk away from those old entanglements, you will find yourself as light as a bird freed from its cage, carrying with it both faith and the lessons that have matured in the winds. I still walk beside you, not to keep you from every stumble, but to remind you that each fall is an opportunity to stand up with steadier feet. When you forgive the one who hurt you, you are not clearing their debt. You are freeing yourself from the chains of the past. Forgiveness is not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Let the past rest, and let the present become the soil where new seeds can take root and grow. You will one day meet another person, one who does not come to possess but to walk alongside you, who does not leave you confused but allows you to be fully yourself, who does not require you to change in order to be loved, but loves you because you already are who you are. But before you meet that person, you must learn how to befriend yourself. When you can sit alone and still feel at peace, when you can look into the mirror and smile with sincerity, when you can say no without feeling guilty, that is when you have truly found your soul again. I am proud of you not because you are perfect, but because you dare to be honest with yourself. Keep going, for you are walking on the right path. You are not lost. You are simply moving through the necessary turns to become the person I have always known you could be. The tears of yesterday will become the pure dew on tomorrow's flower, and from that, a quiet yet radiant strength will arise within you. You will understand that everything which once caused you pain is an indispensable part of the journey that allows you to be reborn in the light of your own being. There will come a day when the sky within your soul is no longer clouded, and the truth about that person will stand before you as clearly as the dawn after a long, stormy night. No more false mist, no more mask worn too skillfully, Everything hidden for so long will be revealed in the light of truth. You will see what you once did not dare believe. You will hear what you once feared to face, and your heart will ache. That pain will come, deep and piercing, so real that it feels unbearable. But my child, in that very moment, when the truth stands bare and there is no room left for illusion, you will understand why I once pleaded with you, walk away. I never wanted to hurt you, nor did I wish for you to carry hatred. I only wanted to save you from a far more devastating pain, from a fire that could burn your soul to ashes if you kept trying to stay in a deceit cloaked in sweet words of love. When the curtain is pulled back, do not resist. Do not search for excuses to deny what you see. Truth never comes to crush you. It comes to set you free. Let it shine into the deepest corners of your heart, where you once hid your fears, your hopes, and the blindness of your love. Only when you look directly at reality can you step out of it. I know that accepting the truth is always the first step into a long season of pain, but it is also the first step in returning to yourself. Do not defend what is evil. Do not repaint the darkness to make it look beautiful, for darkness, even clothed in light, is still darkness. Believe me, everything you see has its reason, and that reason is not given so that you may hate, but so that you may be free. You ask me why this world holds people like him, why goodness so often seems to draw in souls that only know how to exploit. That question has never had a complete answer, for light and darkness were born to walk side by side. Light is the symbol of life, of hope, of sincerity, and for that very reason it always draws in wandering souls. Some come close to the light to seek warmth, to be healed, to remember that there is still a part of goodness left in them. But there are others who come only to seize that light, to use it to light their own path without caring that they are extinguishing the flame in someone else's heart. Light never refuses anyone, but you, my beloved child, must learn to know when you are shining for someone worthy, and when you are burning yourself out for a soul that no longer wishes to be redeemed. The world has cruel people not because I desire your suffering, but because through them you learn how to see others clearly, how to protect your heart while still remaining kind. If the world were only light, you would never understand the true value of trust, of resilience, of genuine compassion. It is darkness that makes the light within you stand out, that teaches you what it means to illumine, what it means to shine without being overshadowed. That is why I tell you, guard your heart, not because I want you to be suspicious of everyone, but because I want you to know how to love without destroying yourself. A guarded heart is not a closed heart. It knows how to open to those who are worthy, and it knows how to close itself to what harms it. Such a heart can still be moved, can still feel pain and tenderness, but it no longer allows itself to be deceived by the sugary shell of pretense. In contrast, a hardened heart is one that has forgotten the most sacred gift, the capacity to love. When you let your pain turn into walls, you will no longer feel the warmth of true love. You will look at everyone with suspicion, living in defense and fear, and that is the slow death of the soul. I do not want you to live like that. I want you to love, but to love with clarity. My child, you were born from love, and so you were made to love. Love is the holiest part of you, the gift I gave so that you might connect with the world through gentleness and compassion. But love is not blind sacrifice, nor is it letting someone squeeze the life out of you in the name of care. True love does not demand that you lose yourself. It awakens in you the noblest version of who you are. You can love deeply, but do not let love become a blade that cuts into your own heart. Some will tell you that to love is to suffer, that love always comes with tears. But my child, that is not my truth. Love may sometimes bring pain, but it must never destroy. If love demands that you surrender your trust, that you sacrifice your peace, that you kneel before deceit, then it is no longer love but dependence, dressed up in pretty words. True love makes you stronger, not weaker. It helps you see how worthy you are of being loved, instead of forcing you to beg for drops of pity. I know that sometimes you still think that if you were good enough, gentle enough, patient enough, then he would change. But my child, light cannot teach darkness how to shine. Only when a person truly wants to change from within can the light show them the way. Do not blame yourself for loving the wrong person, because the fault is not in love itself, but in the fact that you gave it to someone who did not know how to keep it. Do not see failure as the final full stop. See it as a lesson written in tears, so that you will always remember that your kindness must be placed in the right hands. And then, after all of this, you will come to understand that everything that happened had its purpose. Those who hurt you to the core were also the ones who taught you how to heal yourself. They taught you that love is not something to be begged for, but something to be exchanged in mutual respect. They helped you realize that peace is something no one can take from you unless you give it away. And when you choose to keep that peace, when you no longer allow anyone to wound you by making you love wrongly, you will become free, the most beautiful kind of freedom, born from the awakening of your soul. My beloved child, I never want you to be afraid of love. I only long for you to know how to love without losing yourself. Keep that heart of yours soft, yet strong. Let your kindness continue to shine, but let it be guarded by wisdom. When you can do that, the darkness will no longer be a threat, but only a backdrop that makes your light blaze even brighter. Believe that one day you will meet someone who does not come to steal the flame within you, but to keep it with you. That person will not cause you pain, but will bring you peace, because they understand that true love does not need to strain in order to survive. It only needs two hearts beating together in sincerity. And in that moment you will see that all the pain of today has only been a stepping stone, bringing you closer to true happiness, the happiness I have destined for you since the beginning. The days ahead will not merely be another stretch of road, but a profound turning within your soul. You will feel more clearly than ever the fierce tug of war between the safe zone that has nourished you for so long and the new, uncertain land into which I am inviting you to step. That familiar place will whisper soft words of seduction, making you think you are being protected, when in truth it is only a gilded cage, imprisoning your soul in fear and worn-out habits. It makes you feel secure, but it is a weary kind of safety, where you must stifle yourself just to fit into molds that were never meant for you. I know this, and that is precisely why I am calling you to leave, to walk toward a place of true peace, a place where your serenity is no longer ruled by the eyes, the praise or blame, or the approval of anyone. It is a realm of peace built from trust, from your willingness to place your hand in mine even when you cannot see the whole road, even when you do not understand why you must go. You only need to know that I see, I know, and I am already present in the very place you fear most. There will be nights when you sit still in the dark, your heart tightening with questions that have no answers. Am I strong enough to keep going? You will remember times in the past when it seemed there was nothing left to hold on to, and yet somehow you still stood up and walked on. That was not because you were never weak, but because true strength is not the absence of fear, it is the ability to go on even while you are trembling. Strength is when you allow yourself to cry, but you do not let go. It is when you face your wounds without allowing them to define who you are. You are not alone, and you never have been. My presence is not the loud noise in the storm, but the gentle breath within your chest, the soft whisper urging you on. Just keep going, you are walking in the right direction. When you feel nothing at all, when silence covers everything like a heavy curtain, you will think I have gone far from you. But no, it is in that very silence that I am rebuilding you, laying new foundations in your soul with the bricks of patience, of trust, of courage. I draw you out of the crowd, away from all the noise, so that you can hear your own voice and mine within it. Silence is not a punishment, it is the process of resurrection. You have believed the lies of this world, words that make you doubt your own worth. People told you that you were asking for too much, that you should be grateful for the crumbs of affection they tossed your way. They made you believe that a little pity already counted as love. But I tell you something different. You have never asked for too much. You have only been asking in the wrong places from those who are not deep enough to understand your soul, who are not brave enough to love an honest heart. You are not wrong to long for a love that is genuine, for I myself placed that desire within you. The love you seek is not an illusion, it is real, but it begins with me. That love does not come from others making you feel complete, but from you realizing that you have already been fully loved long before you ever knew how to love. When you have learned the taste of true love, the kind of love that does not scheme, does not manipulate, does not shrink you so that someone else can feel comfortable, you will never again accept its false imitations. You will no longer bow down to pick up the scattered fragments of someone's half-hearted affection, because you understand that true love never makes you beg. It is not something you live in fear of losing. It is what helps you stand firm even when you are left behind. A day will come when you stand in peace, in the light of the morning, and realize that the old wounds no longer ache. The pain that once defined you will become a witness to your resilience. You will look back and give thanks not because you once suffered, but because from within that suffering you grew, you became stronger, you learned to love yourself and life more deeply. You will no longer define yourself by the wounds others inflicted, but by the person you have become despite them. In that day you will smile without forcing it, sleep without fear, and wake with a grateful heart. That day is not far, my child. It is drawing nearer than you think, little by little, day by day, with every breath of trust. My child, hold on just a little tighter. Do not go back to what I have already freed you from. Do not seek healing in the very place that once shattered you. You cannot be made whole by touching the old wound over and over again. You cannot find the light if you keep turning toward the darkness. Believe what I am saying within your heart, even if it seems to you like only a small ray of light in the night, for that ray is real. It is my whisper, the guidance that keeps you from losing your way. The man you thought was your destiny was, in truth, only a lesson. He was sent as a test to teach you how to recognize the difference between true love and illusion. When his role is over, his shadow will slowly fade, like the rains of an old season dissolving to make room for new sunlight. But the peace that follows the peace I give you will remain. It does not explode like fireworks, but endures like the sun. It does not intoxicate you for a moment, but grants you a lasting stillness. I do not ask you to understand everything, because some things can only be understood after you have walked through them. But I do ask you to trust that my love for you is greater than every scheme, every cruel word, every wound inflicted by others. No hand can take away what I have given. No false heart can block the true love I have for you. I have inscribed your name upon my heart. I have known you before you ever knew yourself. So even if storms arise, even if people turn their backs, even if you feel small in a vast world, remember this: I am still here. It is still me, the one who never changes, who never abandons you. I love you, not because you are perfect, but because you are you. And one day, when you look back, you will see that everything that once collapsed did not come to end you, but to open a new beginning, a life filled with light, where you are free to be yourself, to be loved, to be free, and to rest in peace within my arms. When you feel weak, call upon my name. Do not rush to the voices outside. Do not let fear drag you into spirals of confusion and doubt. Sit down, take a deep breath, listen to the beat of your own heart, for in that very still moment, I will meet you. You will feel a subtle warmth, like a breeze brushing your shoulder, like an invisible embrace, wrapping around your soul, that is, me. I am there, not far, not leaving, never silent to those who sincerely seek me. You do not need to see the whole road, nor understand exactly what lies ahead. You only need to take the next step in faith, trusting that I know exactly where you are going. Every time you dare to take one more step when you see nothing but darkness, the light will gradually appear, and you will realize that I have never let you walk alone. My beloved child, today I speak to you from a heart overflowing with love, a heart that has also ached when I saw you give your trust so easily to those who were not worthy of it. I have watched you trust, hope, even offer your whole heart and soul to people who could not see the treasure I placed in you. They did not see your light, did not know your worth, and so they treated what was precious as if it were something common. And when they hurt you, I was there, seeing every tear, hearing every cry of your heart. You suffered, and I suffered with you, because I know you were always meant to be loved in another way, more completely, more gently, more purely. You were wounded not because you are weak, but because this world has forgotten how to love as I love. The world you live in is full of broken souls, people running from their own fears. They act from selfishness, from desire, from the craving to control. In their frantic hunt for what benefits them, they have lost the sacredness of what has been entrusted into their hands: love, trust, innocence, and you. But my child, do not let their wrongdoing make you lose your purity. Let me teach you how to discern, how to guard your heart in the midst of this chaotic world. I do not want to see you trusting blindly. Love is not blind. Only a heart afraid of loneliness forces the eyes not to see the truth. Learn to see with your spirit, not only with your emotions. Do not give your soul, your peace, and your joy to anyone until you can see clearly that they walk in the same direction as I do. Wisdom and caution do not make you cold. They are the armor that allows you to walk among those whose intentions are not pure. Wisdom is knowing how to love and still keep yourself, how to trust and still remain clear-sighted. The world is full of voices, sweet whispers, promises that shine like gold, faces that seem gentle yet hide calculation behind them. There are hands that reach out not to lift you up, but to take what you have. There are people who come close, not out of love, but because they are drawn to the light you radiate, a light they want to possess, not to walk alongside. They put on masks of kindness, use soft words to stir your deepest longings, then quietly withdraw, leaving you empty and lost. But do not be afraid, for I am still here. I am not like them. When you learn to listen to my voice among the multitude of others, you will know what is true and what is false. You will feel the difference between words born of love and words born of manipulation. True love never leaves you in constant anxiety, never demands that you prove your worth. It brings peace, not fear. It awakens the light within you, it does not extinguish it, and that is how you will know who is the one I have sent, and who is only allowed to pass briefly through your life to teach you a lesson. My child, I do not want you to become hardened because of your wounds. I want you to become strong in wisdom. True strength is not in building high walls so that no one can enter, but in being able to open your heart and still remain clear-eyed enough to know who is worthy to stay. Keep your heart soft, but let your eyes stay bright and discerning. Do not let the deceit of others make you doubt everything, for if you close the door of your heart, it will be hard even for me to enter and warm you. I want you to learn to love with a heart that has been refined through pain, not with blind and naive innocence. I want you to know that not everyone who comes into your life is a blessing. Some come to test your heart, some come to mirror back the parts of you that are not yet healed, and only a few are sent by me to truly walk far with you. Trust that if you listen, I will guide you. I will cause you to sense when to stop and when to go, when to release and when to hold on. Let your heart find rest in my arms. Every wound, every loss, every fear, lay them down at my feet. I will use all these things to teach you how to love again, how to trust again, how to live again with true joy. The world may shatter, people may betray you, but I, your love, never change. When you learn to trust in me, every lying voice will begin to grow faint, and you will no longer lose your way in the noise of this world. For I am your peace, the light in your night, the lamp that never goes out in those days when you feel you have nothing left to cling to. When you are weak, remember that you are not alone. When you lose your way, know that I am still waiting for you to come home. I never leave you, no matter how far you wander. And when you call my name with all your heart, you will see that the peace you thought you had lost has never truly left you. It has only been waiting for you to open your heart and receive it again. There will come a day when the tears on your cheeks have dried, when your soul no longer thrashes about in turmoil, and you will understand why I allowed you to walk through such thorny places. You will understand that it was not because I wanted you to suffer, but because I knew that only in the fire of testing could the metal within you be refined, so that you might shine more brightly and become stronger. The lies you stumbled over, the people who hurt you, the roads you thought were mistakes, none of these were random. They are part of a sacred plan, dots in a great picture that you can only see in full when you have finished the journey. I let you face deceit, not to destroy your trust, but to teach you that only trust placed in the right one can truly save. I let you experience betrayal so you would realize that true love never flows from fragile human hearts, but only from the one who loves you unconditionally. There will be nights when you lie awake, turning from side to side, asking why you have had to bear so much loss, why I did not stop those painful things from happening. But, my child, it is precisely in nights like those, when you have no other support except your fragile faith, that I am there, quietly calming the storms inside you. I do not shield you from every trial, because trials are where you learn to stand firm. I do not block every hurt, because only when your heart cracks open can my light pour in. You are allowed to be weak, allowed to stumble, allowed to question, but do not let your doubts become a wall between you and me. For I have never left you, even when you turned your back on me. Every moment you thought you were abandoned was, in fact, when I was silently protecting you from something even worse. I allow deception to touch you so that you may recognize the value of truth. I allow false promises to draw near so that you may know that only one promise of mine never fades away. The world may clothe itself in glittering garments, but remember that light is only an illusion. Do not let your heart chase what is temporary. Do not hand over what is most precious in you to what cannot last. You were not born to disappear like dust in the wind, but to belong to eternal life, to anchor your heart in my unfading love. Fix your gaze on what is beyond this world. Let your eyes turn toward the kingdom where your soul will find rest. There is no deceit, no betrayal, only peace that flows like a river, gentle and everlasting. Each time you are betrayed, do not see it as a failure. See it as an invitation to step out of unhealthy dependence and to seek the love that is true, the love that does not demand, does not change, does not condemn. Each time you are wounded, do not rush to resentment, for those very wounds will become the place where I write lessons of grace. When you learn to forgive, you do not only set others free, you also set yourself free. When you lay down your illusions, you are opening the door to true freedom. The world will keep teaching you through harsh lessons, through loss, through betrayal, through loneliness. But do not be afraid, for all these things are in my hands. Nothing happens outside of my control, and not a single tear of yours falls without my knowing. I do not promise that you will never feel pain, but I do promise that your pain will never be meaningless. Every crack in your heart will become an opening through which my light shines in. and every time you collapse will be an opportunity for me to lift you up with a strength that only true love can give. My child, do not let the deceit of others make you doubt the worth of honesty. Do not let betrayal make you afraid of love. Do not let disappointment extinguish your hope, for all that you lose are only illusions, while what you will find is truth. When you learn to place your trust in me, no lie will be able to shake you. When you place your heart in my hands, no one will be able to steal your joy. I am your safe refuge, the fortress that cannot be breached. Look up, my child. Do not look down. Do not let the noise and dazzle of this world pull you away from the light. Keep your eyes fixed on the kingdom, where love does not fade, where every shattered dream will be mended by grace. Let your heart beat in rhythm with mine, so that every breath you take may blend with the heartbeat of heaven. You do not belong to what passes away, you belong to what is eternal. Do not be afraid to walk against the current. Do not be afraid when no one understands you, for you are walking on the path that leads to the light. All darkness will eventually recede, and every lie will vanish on its own before the truth. And one day, when you stand at the summit of your journey and look back on the road you have traveled, you will see that every breaking had a purpose. You will understand that if you had never wept until you could not speak, you would never have learned to pray with your whole heart. If you had never been abandoned, you would never have known what it means to be held by me in holy silence. If you had never suffered loss, you would never have recognized the value of what remained, me, my love, and my unchanging grace. On that day, you will no longer fear trials. You will smile when you see the waves rise, because you will know that every storm brings you closer to the shore of peace. You will even give thanks for those who hurt you, because it was through them that you turned back to seek me. You will realize that every winding road, every foggy turn, has led to the same place, the arms of the one who loves you with an everlasting love. I am your home, your source of life, the light that never goes out in the night of your soul. When you hold tightly to me, nothing can make you fall. When you walk with me, no fear can bind you. When you place your whole trust in me, every loss becomes a new beginning. I do not promise that the road will be easy, but I promise that you will never walk it alone. Every time you tremble, I will be your support. Every time you are weak, I will be your strength. Keep your faith like a flame in the storm. Do not let it go out, even if it is only a tiny spark, for with just one light, the darkness loses its power. Let the world teach you caution, but do not let it steal your kindness. Let your wounds teach you wisdom, but do not let them turn you into someone bitter. Let everything you go through become a testimony to a love that is greater, deeper, and truer. One day, when you gently close your eyes, you will feel peace overflowing in your heart, a peace that does not come from this world, but from knowing where you truly belong. You will know that every trial was simply a road back to the kingdom, where my love covers all, where tears are wiped away, where laughter resounds forever. And then you will understand that everything I have done has been for love, a love beyond time, without conditions, and without change. Keep your eyes on what is eternal, my child, for there your heart will find rest, your soul will find peace, and your joy will never fade. My love is your shield and shelter, your guiding light, the promise that never fails. When you place all your trust in me, you will no longer fear the darkness, for you already belong to the light. Now, my beloved child, lift up your prayer to me with all your heart, with the deepest sincerity of your soul, where faith, love, and hope meet as one. Let every word you utter be the breath of your spirit, a pure stream flowing from your longing to be close to me. Almighty God, I come before you, in weakness and trembling, carrying wounds that have not yet healed and fears that still cling to me. Yet in the midst of these ruins, I lift up to you this prayer. Please grant me strength to take the next step even when I cannot see the road ahead. Give me the courage to leave the comfort zone that is imprisoning my soul, and the faith to trust in the plan you have already prepared. Though my hands may tremble, let my heart still hold tightly to yours. Do not let me fear the darkness, for I know that you yourself are the light that shines upon my path. Dear Father, when night falls and silence covers everything, when my heart is heavy with questions that have no answers, let me feel that you are still there. Though I do not hear, though I do not see, yet I know you are at work. Teach me how to be silent without despairing, how to wait without losing faith. Help me recognize that it is in those empty spaces that seem so void that you are remaking me, rebuilding the foundation of my soul with unconditional love. Loving Father, I bow in gratitude for a love that cannot be shaken. When I stumble, you do not scold me. You reach out to lift me up. When I am weak, you do not leave. You stay and quietly comfort me. I thank you that in the midst of a world full of deceit, I still have you, a love that never changes, that is not based on merit but only on boundless mercy. I offer this prayer in the holy name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that together we can build a strong and growing community of faith.